Yo guys, what's up? Sabres fan, I am back again 2 days in a row now, like I said. Bringing you guys my Western Conference predictions now for the upcoming NHL season. And I think we should just get right into it. Don't really have any other news from the NHL today that happened. It's Saturday. So with that, we went over the Atlantic and the Metro yesterday. You guys let me know what you guys think of those. And today we're going to jump into the Western Conference. So I'm going to start off in the Central Division here. And coming in at number 7, we're going to be going with the Minnesota Wild. Now, this offseason just been confusing for me with the Wild. I mean, they traded Devin Dubnyk to San Jose. I mean, okay. He was okay. He was about average. And they signed Cam Talbot to replace him. I don't know if Talbot's a starter, and for me, he's not a starting goalie that's going to get you into the playoffs and anywhere in the playoffs if you do somehow make it. Stall for Johansson, as a Sabres fan, I love that trade, but Johansson just clearly didn't fit in here in Buffalo. And for me, I heard they're playing Johansson at center, which did not work out in Buffalo. I don't know. Minnesota's just very confusing to me. You got Kaprizov coming in. Excited to see what he can do. But other than that, Minnesota, I'm not really sure where they're going with that. So Minnesota coming in at number 7, I don't think that's a huge surprise to anyone. Number 6, they openly admitted with a letter to their fans that they're going into a rebuild, and I don't think this is also a surprise either. I got the Chicago Blackhawks coming in at number 6 in the Central. That's literally the only reason why. They said we're going into rebuild, and I mean it kind of makes sense. You still got guys like Kane and Taves, but are they there? They were starting to build a nice core. They got Dominic Kubalik, Dylan Strome starting to play good. Alex Nylander, maybe. Can he turn into something in Chicago? Still, you're looking at that. But for me, I think, Chicago is ready to go into rebuild. They openly admitted it, and I think they'll finish 6th in the Central. It's pretty fair, I think, for Chicago. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to go with the Nashville Predators here. And no, I do not have Nashville making the postseason this year. Kind of a shocker. I still think my question for them is goaltending, because Pekka Rinne is coming to the end of his career. Is Rinne still a starter? I don't know. Are they going to hand it over to Saros now, who looks okay, but is he a starting goalie? I don't know. Nashville, they just drafted Askarov with their first-round pick, which, good pick, but Askarov is not even close to ready. So for me, Nashville, I mean, they still have a really good team. Their defense is still really good with Yossi and Ekholm and Ellis. They brought in Borowiecki to sell it, and Matt Benning, actually. They signed 2 pretty good bottom-pairing defensemen as well on a defensive core that's already really good. Offensively, Forsberg, Duchesne, Johansson, they still have a good forward core. I don't know. I feel like if they're going to miss the playoffs in one of these next few years, it's probably going to be this year, especially in a Central Division that has, some other really good teams around them. So I think Nashville's just going to just barely miss the playoffs, but they're coming in at number 5 in the Central. Moving on to number 4, this might be controversial, but I'm going to go with the Winnipeg Jets. Now, Connor Hellebuyck is elite. They have goaltending. That's not their issue. Defensively is where I think I have questions. Offensively, no problems there. Scheifele, Laine, Connor, Ehlers, etc. They are a talented forward group. Laine, actually, there's all those rumors. Does Laine get traded? I don't know. I don't think he does. I don't think there's anybody that's going to put the package that Winnipeg is willing to accept up for a consistent 30-plus 40 goal scorer right there. He's a gifted goal scorer. You don't trade those unless you get something absolutely insane in return. My question for Winnipeg is defense. They don't have too much, and that's my question. But I think Hellebuyck is good enough to push them into a wild card spot. I have them getting the second wild card in the Western Conference, just squeaking out over Nashville for that last Western Conference playoff spot. Coming in at number 3, I mean, this is an interesting pick, but I'm going with the Dallas Stars, the reigning Western Conference champions. Couldn't get by Tampa in the finals, but The Dallas Stars proved me very wrong last year with their postseason run. I didn't think they had it. I didn't think they had what it took to get to the finals, and that's why I think I'm still skeptical a little bit, and I have them at 3. But their offense is there. Like Sagan, Ben, Radulov was really good in the playoffs. You've seen emergence, like some young stars starting to step out. Guys like Denis Gurianov, Rupe Hintz still really, really solid young forward for them. Defensively, guys like Miro Heiskanen, my goodness, is he amazing to watch. John Klingberg's still there. Esa Lindell, they have a really good, top 2 defensive pairings and forward lines. For me, probably crazy. Like, I still have questions about goaltending. Like, Ben Bishop is kind of injury prone at this point. Doesn't seem like he's what he used to be. Now, Anton Khudobin, on the other hand, was going insane in the playoffs, but can he sustain that? He's old. That's my question on Dallas. Other than that, solid team. They'll definitely be in the postseason next year unless a crazy injury happens, like I said, with Boston. And yeah, keep an eye on Dallas. They're going to be a very good team next year. Number 2, it was a toss-up. It was a toss-up for me between the top 2, but I went with the St. Louis Blues. And losing Pietrangelo is a huge blow. That kills. That is going to be huge. Not just in game, that's going to hurt them locker room, because you lose your captain, that's a huge loss. Now you fill him with Torrey Krug, and that's a good replacement, but Krug is not Pietrangelo. Not top 2, maybe top 2, maybe a number 2 defenseman. I feel like Krug and Parayko will end up playing together. That's a good replacement, but it's not Pietrangelo for this Blues team. They're still going to be a very good team. O'Reilly, Tarasenko, etc. up front. Defensively, like I said, they're pretty solid. And in goal, Jordan Binnington, I think he'll have a bounce back year, and solid for the Blues. They'll be in the playoffs, and they could be a dark horse team that finds their way deep in the postseason again. And that leaves only one team left in the Central, and my division winner for the Central will be the Colorado Avalanche. Yes, ever since, was it 2017, 2016 when they got last in the league and they were awful, god awful, I started paying attention to Colorado a little bit. They've become my my team I cheer for in the West, because they're just so fun to watch. McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, Burakovsky, go down their forward group. It's very, very good. And then defensively, Cale Makar, another young star defensively. The league with young defensemen joining the league within the last 2 or 3 years is insane. I'm thinking Makar, Dahlin, Quinn Hughes, Miro Heiskanen. This league, there's so many good young defensemen. For me, Colorado, still got guys like Sam Girard, Ryan Graves I'm a huge fan of. Colorado with their one big trade this offseason, getting Brandon Saad for Zadorov, and then they also replaced Zadorov by trading 2 seconds to the Islanders for Devon Toews, who's another really solid defenseman for them. Only question I'd have with Colorado is Philip Grubauer. Can he stay healthy? Can he play good net for the Avalanche? But I think the offense and defense will make up for it, and Colorado is a force to be reckoned with in the Western Conference. So for me, Colorado wins the Central Division. So we're going to move on to the Pacific Division now, and this division's all over the place. This, I think, has the biggest, it's not consistent. Any team could finish anywhere for me. And at number 8, though, I have the Anaheim Ducks. Okay, you got Jamie Drysdale. I don't think they're going to throw him into the lineup next year. You signed Kevin Shattenkirk to a horrible contract. The only thing I think Anaheim has going for them is John Gibson. 100% John Gibson, one of the top 5 goalies in the NHL right now. And Fowler, Lindholm, Manson, decent defense, offense. There's not enough offensively. Ricard Raquel, that's your goal scorer. Ryan Getzlaf's still there, but he's not what he was. I think Anaheim's going to come in at the bottom here this year in the Pacific Division. Nothing against their team. They have a decent a core to build around, but they need to do it quick if they're trying to make the playoffs. Number 7 here, I'm going with the LA Kings. Quentin Byfield, very good pick at number 2. I love that pick for LA. The next coming to Vanzai Kopitar. Losing, to Foley a little bit ago was big. Drew Doughty, is he worth that contract that he's on right now? Jonathan Quick is not what he was in their 2 Stanley Cup runs. They have enough. They could squeak in, but, I don't know. I think the Kings need to just hit a rebuild right now, just like Chicago. The 2 dominant teams in the West from this past decade on their downfall now. So I think LA needs to just kind of hit a rebuild, get some more pieces. Byfield's a great start, but add to that with some draft picks, in my opinion. Number 6, I could have had them lower, but I put them in at number 6. I'm going to the Arizona Coyotes for number 6 in the Pacific. Taylor Hall didn't really work out with Arizona. They gave up a lot to get him. And then on top of that, their first 4 picks in this draft, they had the first 3 taken away for their cheating and scouting with the combine early and whatnot. And then their fourth round pick, I'm not even going to get into that with all the racial drama with him. They just renounced him, so he's no longer a Coyote either. So their first, they had no picks in the first 4 rounds. Their prospects are just gone. The Ekman-Larsson trade rumors were crazy. Arizona has a lot of drama going on with them right now. And, I love Clayton Keller. I like Nick Schmaltz. Phil Kessel, Ekman-Larsson. Jacob Chikrin's looking really good. Darcy Kemper, oh, man, he's been really solid for them this year. Antti Ranta as well. Their goaltending looks good, but for me, Arizona, they're in another of those years for them where everybody's hey, maybe Arizona can make the playoffs, but they won't make it. They're like a Buffalo and a Florida for me. They're always just oh, maybe they'll make it this year. Maybe they'll make it this year. And then they just never do. They never reach that expectation. So that's where I think Arizona falls a little bit short in the Pacific this year. Number 5, I have San Jose. They had just a bad year. I expect a bounce back from them. I still don't know what they were doing this offseason. Devin Dubnyk, why? Erik Karlsson's contract just looks bad after those injuries he's had. Brent Burns, is he on the downfall right now? Jumbo Joe's not coming back. They still have Couture. They have Timo Meier. They have Evander Kane. They're still decent. And that's why I think they come in right around the middle of the pack here at number 5. Not too bad, not too good. They missed the playoffs, but that's right around where I think San Jose will be. They'll be better than they were last year for sure. That's not a doubt in my mind. I'm pretty sure San Jose is not going to have another bottom 5 NHL appearance this year. There's no way. So that's where I put San Jose. Coming in at number 4, I honestly didn't like the offseason this team had, but they still have enough to get to the playoffs, and they're going to come in with the first wildcard spot. This is the Calgary Flames. So there was Johnny Gaudreau rumors this offseason. Nothing ever came through. I don't know. Jacob Markstrom, really. I like Jacob Markstrom as a goaltender. 6 years, $6 million is a little much. And I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work out. Chris Tanev's a good signing. I have questions offensively. That's my questions. Matthew Tkachuk, Monahan, and Gaudreau. Michael Backlund, maybe. I don't know. I have questions for that when it comes to Calgary. Defensively, I don't mind it. TJ Brody, Giordano's still there. They signed Chris Tanev. Shillington's there. I don't know. They'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to make any noise in the playoffs. Now, first wildcard team for me coming in at 4th in the Pacific. Now, number 3, this team they really shocked me this season. And I got the Vancouver Canucks coming in 3rd in the Pacific. Elias Pettersson, fantastic. Bo Horvat, fantastic. Brock Besser's still there. They have a really good offense. Defensively, guys like Quinn Hughes are there. I love Quinn Hughes. Goaltending, you signed Braden Holtby. You have Thatcher Demko, who was going off in the playoffs when he got starts. I like their goaltending situation as well. Signing a veteran at Holtby could come in and solidify that goaltending spot for Vancouver. I think they can get 3rd in the Pacific because they're in a bit of a weaker division. All those teams behind them I mentioned before other than maybe Calgary, I think they can certainly beat out. They're a better team than all 4 or 5 of those teams that I just mentioned. I like Vancouver. They're on an uprise, and as the 1970 expansion brother with the Sabres, I gotta have a soft spot for Vancouver. I think they'll do pretty solid this year when it comes to the regular season. Number 2, this pains me to say it, but Edmonton's coming in number 2. When you have McDavid and Draisaitl, you're just absolutely insane. So for me, Edmonton, if you have a team with McDavid and Draisaitl, how do you miss the playoffs? Like, it's not possible. And then Tyson Barrie, he's going to have a bounce-back year. I think Edmonton's a really good fit for him. So Edmonton, not much other to say other than McDavid, Draisaitl, really. Nugent Hopkins maybe as well. Jesse Puljujärvi's coming back. Maybe he can find his game. And again, in kind of a weaker Pacific Division, I think Edmonton can certainly find themselves at that number 2 spot. And to close out this video, my Western Conference predictions in the NHL for next season. The Western Conference champion, and that would also make them Pacific Division champion. I got the Vegas Golden Knights. Pretty obvious. I mean, therefore, just the way the team plays, it's coaching, it's the people, it's the chemistry. Robin Lehner at the trade deadline, and they sent him an extension. Wow, that is an incredible move by the Vegas Golden Knights. And then also Alex Pietrangelo, that is just an instant top-tier play that puts you above everyone else. Yeah, you had to trade Nate Schmidt to Vancouver for that. Great trade for Vancouver, by the way, but still, doesn't matter. That instantly sets you above everyone else in your division. Like Pietrangelo, man, and you still got Fleury in there as well. Vegas is going to be a very good team. I could easily see them going to the Stanley Cup Final from the West next year. A really good team. Not a huge Vegas fan. You're going to have success so early. Yet my Sabres can't even have success 52 years into the NHL. Good Lord. A joke, but that's my Western Conference predictions for next year. The playoff series would be Colorado and Calgary. That is the Central winner and the first wild card. Vegas goes up against Winnipeg, conference champion against second wild card. Edmonton and Vancouver, I think that would be a very fun series. Two young teams going at it. That'll be a really good series. And then St. Louis, Dallas, we've seen a lot of that lately. I think that's just how it plays out. Don't think I'm going to predict playoffs because that's crazy, and my predictions probably aren't even going to make both 8 teams in each conference going to make the playoffs. There's going to be some surprises, and I'm definitely not going to be right. But that's just what I have right now for the Western Conference. And if you guys liked the video, make sure to subscribe for more NHL content. I'll be making a lot of it upcoming here, and make sure to share the video, drop a like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.